How's it going, everybody? This is BeatTheBush. Today I'm going to talk about the Omicron Covid variant and how it can impact the market going forward. This video is brought to you by Rakuten. Just for signing up, you're going to get $40 cash back if you spend $40 or more. This deal is the best they've ever had, and after December 7th, they're going to revert back to probably around $20 cash back. This is essentially free money. If you don't have a Rakuten account, just make sure you sign up. Click through one of the shopping links, buy anything over $40, make sure this is before tax. After you do your shopping, you can check your shopping trips in Rakuten to make sure that they register that you did go through their website. Sometime later, they're going to credit you $40, which will be paid out in PayPal. This is just free money. Check out my referral link down in the video description below. On February 14, 2020, right before all the lockdowns, I released a video warning everybody what is about to happen. In the past few weeks or so, the US stock market has largely just ignored the coronavirus. And I'm personally very surprised about this because when you analyze it, there is certainly a risk factor. Things are kind of breaking out here and there, right? It's spreading a little bit. And sometimes the disease spreads even when there's no sign of infection. People does not have to show fever or cough or anything. So that's the major thing that could cause more people to be diagnosed with the coronavirus outside of China. Keep in mind that at the time, I could not even put the word corona in the title because these videos actually get demonetized. From that day that I released the video, the S&P proceeded to tumble about 31% since its peak. I sold off at the right time, but I did not buy in back at the right time. So I lost out on quite a bit of gains, but I gained money in other ways. If you held on from the very beginning through the 30% dip and then come back up, you would have gained about 30% instead. Now let's talk about what's going to happen going forward. There's this Omicron virus. People think it's coming from South Africa because that's where they detected it first. It might have not originated there, but it doesn't really matter where it originated from. You can see in South Africa, it was chugging along at 300 cases a day. Then on one day, November 23rd, about a week ago, it spiked up to 18,000 cases. And then on the next day, it died down back to 1,200 cases, 2,400 cases, and then 2 days after that, 6,000 cases. If you look at the data in the US, there's no spike so far, but people are freaking out because they see a spike somewhere else. As we've seen with the coronavirus, if it spikes at one place, it's eventually going to make its way to other countries, except it's a little bit time delayed. Some countries, they might do some kind of lockdown, they might do all these travel ban restrictions, but ultimately it doesn't really work. We are too connected in the world. If one place, somewhere really far off, is gonna get it, it's eventually going to spread to the rest of the world. This Omicron Covid variant apparently has 50 different mutations and 30 of them is on the spike protein, which may make it less susceptible to immunity from previous infections or vaccines. The S&P 500 on the 24th tumbled 2%. Now, this is not a lot. This is just like a small blip, likely an overreaction because people see there is an uncertainty and then there's a small sell-off. On Monday, it quickly rebounded by 1.5%, so it's more like a knee-jerk reaction. We really don't know what's going to happen. We have to wait around to see if this Omicron virus is really that bad, if it's going to cause lockdowns even. There's a lot of conflicting information on the news. Some early observations suggest that could be the case with breakthrough infections reported in vaccinated people. Reuters report that South African doctor says patients with Omicron variant have very mild symptoms. Two very different opposing views, so which do you believe? WHO says it's too early to understand Omicron severity. And by the way, it's already here in North America. Omicron variant now in North America. 2 cases in Ontario, Canada. Unless they do like a very strict lockdown, it's likely out and about. The problem we have today is that we do not distribute vaccines very equally. Not everyone is willing to take the vaccine, and there's always going to be pockets of areas where people are not vaccinated, and that's where the virus just starts brewing and causes more and more variants. These random mutations then causes the vaccines to be possibly ineffective. I think this requires some explanation. Why does mutation happen? Mutations generally are very random acts of nature. One of these random mutations happens to survive and they become more transmissive, and then that's how these things spread. In a population where people are not vaccinated, you have more chances of mutations because there's more virus around the more chances are that you can randomly hit it right on the bullseye and one of these become very, very virulent. Worldwide so far, we have 261 million cases, 5.2 million deaths. Keep in mind, I think we have like 7.5 billion people on this earth. So we're almost close to about 0.1% of the entire population. If you look at the number of waves we have, we currently are about 3 per year. Every 4 months or so, we get another spike. And in about 3 or 4 months, it's going to be the 2-year anniversary. Looking at this, I think this is going to go on for quite some time, at least a few more years, I think. In order to not drive yourself crazy, I think you really have to just be more comfortable with all the Zoom meetings. Maybe try out the VR stuff. You know, you can teleport yourself somewhere else. Maybe you can try out the VR meetings. Buy yourself the Aeron chair for your home office. You know, just, I don't know, just YOLO a little bit, because it really does seem like, you know, maybe one of these days, these viruses can get a lot stronger. It's going to transmit to someone. You happen to get it. Life is short, so you know you gotta enjoy a little bit more now, more so now than before this COVID stuff. In the very beginning, we knew that once it left China and it goes to a different country, it's basically going to be endemic, which means that it's going to be as common as the flu. So whatever this is that we're having right now, masks, lockdown, virtually no travel, I think it's going to go on for quite some time. So we pretty much needs to get pretty comfortable with whatever this situation is. If the COVID virus is kind of like the flu, it's just going to keep on coming, wave after wave, 3 waves a year, 4 waves a year. So what's the alternative? We could possibly try to beat it. We can try to vaccinate every single person in the world, and so it will reduce the number of mutations to such a small amount that we're not going to get as many variants coming out. We could also have some kind of worldwide simultaneous lockdown where everybody just stays at home for like 2 to 4 weeks. But this is essentially going to plummet the entire world economy, and I do not see this happening. You never see an entire world cooperate in this simultaneous fashion. I don't see this happening. Alternatively, we could have some kind of treatment, some kind of drug where, you know, as soon as you get it, you take this drug and boom, you're healed. A lot of drug companies are trying to make something like that, but, you know, nothing too promising just yet. At first, we heard on the news, Merck had promising results for a COVID treatment pill, but later on they backtracked a little bit after getting more results. Merck says its COVID antiviral treatment is less effective than first thought. Molnupiravir has a risk reduction of 30%, which is not that great. 30% is more like this. You have 100 people that gets COVID and they are at risk of dying. Let's say 10 people died out of those 100. So if those 100 people happen to take this drug, a 30% reduction would be, instead of 10 people dying, you have 7 people dying. So it's an improvement. It's better than nothing, but it's still not that great an improvement. I think a drug will probably be kind of like a holy grail over here. If there is some miracle drug like this, then it could possibly end all this work from home stuff. All of a sudden, everyone can just go everywhere. If they happen to catch it, just pop in a pill. Let's just hope that, you know, maybe we get something like this in the future. Investing in one of those drug companies could potentially reveal really, really high rewards. Not just the drug company itself, because if something like this comes out into the market, then essentially the entire world is gonna go right back to normal. It's really hopeful. Like, I really hope for something like this as well. In the meantime, I think we have to hunker down and prepare to, you know, continue this for quite some time. As for the stock market, I don't think we have to worry much about this Omicron variant. My prediction is I think there's going to be a little bit more volatility in the coming month or 2 months, but we probably need to monitor what kind of variants are coming out and see if there's something more substantial. And when there is, then that might warrant a lockdown, and lockdown is going to cause the stock market to tumble. Thanks for watching this video. Don't forget to give me a like and subscribe for more.